That is why we are selecting even sizes. Now here, while doing this rounding, there is one small say convention that is used. Although we say we are increasing, in certain situations, see for example, if the dimension is 16.1, in this case you are making it 16. Coming down, although the dimension required is 16.1, we are making it 16. That means we are in fact reducing the size, and as a result the stress is going to be more than what is given. But we are adjusting, we are managing with this. The reason is because the size FT design, whatever stress is given to us, value let's say 80 megapascals is already given to us. This stress is something which is given to us after applying factor of safety. So all of you know what is factor of safety. That means suppose the factor of safety here is 2. That means this material is going to reach the yield stress. That means it will reach the maximum point where the elastic limit is over. If you remember last time we had drawn this graph. So this is the yield. So this yield stress could be one double of this, so 160, and we are using 80 because the factor of safety is 2. So we are working here. Actually material can experience stress up to 160 without any difficulty. Okay, but now what we are doing, at 80 our dimension has come 16.1. So as per this rule you will directly have to go to 18. But then that is too much excess size. You require 16 and you go to 18. So just for the sake of rounding, you have added 2 millimeters more, which is slightly more unnecessary, you can say. So instead of that, we are ready to come down, by which the stress will slightly increase, but still there is no problem. So this we are going to do for 16.1 as well as for 16.2. We are going back to 16. But after 16.2, if it is 16.3 to 17.9, you are going to the higher size, that is 18. So the even number, next even number is this, from 16 to 18, so from 16 to maybe 17.9, the next number is of course 18, but for these two figures we are going back 16.1 and 2, we are going back. After 16.3 till here, we are going forward. So please make a note of how to round the figure and how to arrive at the dimension. So let me repeat, the value of the dimension which you get for all these cases, the value of the dimension which you get here, that dimension is not final because it will come in decimals. If it is not coming in decimals, suppose it comes as 16 itself, then well and good, we will use it 16. But if it is anything other than even number and go to like this, something like this, then up to 16.1 and 2 you go back, and 0.3 onwards you go to the higher even number. This is applicable everywhere. Okay, so I will not repeat this every time. The fact that we say we find D, we find D1, we find D2, we find D3, that means we are doing this rounding everywhere. Okay, so that is the way we have found out D1. Now let's try to find out the remaining dimensions. Okay, so now the next point is tensile failure of spigot rod across slot and crushing failure of cotton. Now we are considering two failures at a time, and they are going to give us D1 and T. Now see what we have written here. Now this diameter is designed, that means now it will not fail from here. So if it doesn't fail from here, where else it can fail, that is the next thing. So now if you see here, the dimension here is D1. So the size is D1, and to this diameter D1 you have cut one slot of thickness T. So now the next chance of failure is this rod. So what way this rod will fail? This rod is again in tension like this. So just like what has happened here, same thing will happen to this section, and it will fail in tensile manner. So tensile failure of spigot across slot. So we write here FT design again is equal to load upon area. Load is this, and now what is the area here? Now that resisting area let us draw first. So that area will look something like this. Correct? Cross section at this place will be like this, where this is dimension D1, diameter D1, and then the thickness is T. So what is the area of this particular shaded section? It is pi D1 square by 4 minus this rectangle. Approximately this is rectangle of size D1 into T. D1 into T. So pi D1 square by 4 minus D1 into T, that is the area of the shaded part, which is a resisting area. So we have written the design equation, stress equal to load upon area, and in this equation you will find that tensile stress is already given, load is given, and you have to now find out D1 and T. So can you find out both of them? You will not be able to find out both of them at a time, because these two unknowns with one equation you will not be able to find out. So therefore you can say and crushing failure of cotter. Now what this means is that this cotter pin, which is inserted like this under the action of load at this place, you can see here cotter pin is touching to the slot of this spigot. So there this cotter pin and the slot, this part is in contact. So at this place there is going to be a crushing that is going to take place. So last time we have seen different types of stresses. That time there was a crushing stress given to us. So what is a crushing stress? Like the example was, one rod is in contact with the surface and there is a load downwards. At that time, at this surface, there is going to be a crushing stress. So something similar, this cotter has got certain width. So this width, which is T, that width is coming in contact with the diameter D, and as a result at this place, there is, at this surface there is a crushing stress that is developed into the cotter. So that is what is written, crushing failure of cotter. So this cotter will fail at this place because of crushing stress. So we have to write again a design equation for this second statement, something similar. So what do we write here? F. Now this time it is a crushing stress. Design crushing stress, which is equal to load upon area. Load again is same P. And what is the resisting area here? We will draw the sketch of the resisting area, which will look like this. This diameter is D and this thickness is T. This is where the cotter is in contact with the spigot, and therefore the resisting area is D1 it is. So D1 into T. So crushing failure of cotter and tensile failure of spigot rod. So these two lines, these two statements are written in the form of equation. So what will happen is, now you can find out D1 and T by solving these two equations. Suppose I write this as 1 and this is equation 2. So I'll write here, from 1 and 2 you can now find how much is D1 and how much is T. So these two sizes you will find out, and of course the rounding what we have just now discussed, that is applicable here. So finalize the dimensions according to the method which we have just now seen, and finalize these two dimensions. So now D1 is known and T is also known. Okay, so we have finalized some more dimensions. Now let's go for the remaining parts, remaining dimensions. Okay, So now the next thing is, now see here we have applied, just last time we have applied this crushing stress here, which is for this quarter, but this common surface is for spigot also. That means we have seen that the quarter will not fail under crushing, but what happens if the spigot fails in crushing? That is also not allowed. So we have to now check, alright, a checking of spigot for crushing stress across slot. Checking of spigot for crushing stress across slot. Now see, we have not written the word design. Here we have written the word checking. Now see what it means. At this place there is a crushing stress. So I will write the design equation. If crushing is equal to, I am not writing here right now, design I am not writing D here. Let it be crushing stress equal to load upon area. Now what is the area here? I will again draw the sketch. But this time this part is spigot. See, last time we were on same sketch, but the section what was shown here, the surface what was shown, that was the surface belonging to quarter. Now I am showing this surface, which is a surface belonging to spigot. Okay, so we write maybe the equation is same, d1 into t. So the crushing stress is load upon area. This is the area here, like this area. But now what are you finding here? What are you doing with this equation? Because d1 in t is already known, p is also known, everything is known. And this is a design stress which is already written there earlier. But now what happens? We are making use of this load and these three values, and we are going to find F crushing. And this is called as induced stress. So when the dimensions are available, we are finding out the stress. Last time the stress was there, we have found out dimensions. Now dimensions are already there. We are applying this equation and trying to find out the stress, which is induced stress in spigot. Induced stress in spigot. Now you will see that since the value of the stress is same, that means the material for this and material for this is same. So whatever is given to us 80 megapascals, that is applicable to spigot also and quarter also, in which case the answer will come same. So if the answer comes same, probably this exercise is, maybe it is not required. But if the material is different, in that case you will have to do this. Okay. So this is the induced stress. So this value of induced stress should be less than the design stress. So if the value of stress, induced stress is less, I am question mark, if the value is less than this, then dimensions okay. If this is less, dimensions d1 and t are acceptable. So I'll write just okay. Okay. So this is the way it is done. The checking is done for the crushing stress on the spigot. Now next aspect. Now the next is shear failure of spigot end beyond slot. Shear failure of spigot end beyond slot. That means here this portion, it will also fail by applying a load like this. So what will happen when you apply a load like this? This part will get sheared off and it will fail. How it will fail? I'll just draw a sketch for you to understand what must have happened. See, right now the slot is like this. not on the whole thing, it is like this. So this slot is here and this length L is this L. This length is L. Now what will happen, thus the quarter pin which is here, this quarter pin is here, it will come out like this from here, and as a result this much part, it will break from here and this part will come out like this. So from here this particular part is sliced out and this is the newly created area. One end, other is on the back side. So once the part fails, this is a kind of failure which is a shear failure, and after the shear failure takes place, if it is taking place, then these two are the surfaces which are newly created surfaces which were the ones which were preventing this from happening. So this shear failure is prevented by this resisting area. So what is this area is? This dimension is D1, that means this height is D1 and the thickness is T. And we are not interested in fact this, we are interested in this length which is L. So this T is of no use. So D1 into L taken twice. D1 into L is this area and one more area on the back side. So D1 into L into 2 is the resisting area going to be, and the type of failure is shear failure. So now we write the design equation as usual. F shear design is equal to load upon area. Now area is this, 2 times D1 into T. So stress is equal to this. Now here shear stress is known, load is known, T is known, D1, rather not D1, it is L rather. D1 is known, L is not known, so you can find out how much is L you require. So you can find out this much length, how much you are going to keep, so that this will not happen. Okay. At this stage you might ask, what is the value of, we say shear design stress is given, but we are given FTD, this is AT is F tensile design, not shear design. So here at this stage there is one what is called as a empirical relation, standard relation between the different stresses. So which says that F shear design is 0.6 times, maybe I'll write here, so this is the proportion of different stresses in terms of the design tensile stress. So always you are given tensile design stress, from this you have to work out the shear design stress, crushing design stress, bearing design stress by this factor, so that you can go ahead without any difficulty. So I may not write here, it is already written there. So that is why all the stresses are known, and accordingly you can get the dimensions. Now let's see the next part. Next is crushing of spigot collar. Now see what we are going to now do is we are going to find out D2 here, D2, and what criteria we are applying is crushing of spigot collar of the spigot. Now this is a spigot, it has got this collar. Now what happens is this collar, it is in contact with this and it will fail here because of crushing. Now the question is how it will fail and why it will fail. First thing is, let me tell you at this stage that you are applying a load like this. Because of this load, there is not going to be any stress like this here, definitely. But then why there will be stress here is for some other reason. What is the other reason? The other reason is when you are hammering this quarter and forming assembly, at that time when this quarter is hammered down, this quarter is passing through the taper slot. So when it passes through the taper slot, it will try to go down across the taper, and when that happens, you can see here contact is here and here and here, and there is a clearance here and here. So because of this clearance, it will still try to go down, and as a result, these two surfaces, they will try to touch each other with more and more force. And this force that is developed here, or the load that is applied here, is not this P, but it is a load because of the hammering. So because of the hammering, these two surfaces will try to firmly touch each other and they will form the joint. Now the only thing is, we don't know how much is the force applied here because of hammer. So what are we doing here is, we are just taking this value as a force, but it is not applied here, but this is definitely more than what is applied here because of hammering. So if you are taking a higher value than what is actual, it is always better. So we are using this value, but that is not the actual load that is applied. Keep that in mind. So now we write the equation: crushing stress design is equal to load. Again, this is not the load is something else. We don't know, but we are taking P and then the area. Now what is the area here? Let me draw the sketch of the resisting area. See, this sketch of the resisting area you have to always draw. For all the design equations, not only this exercise, all the time in future, whenever we are writing